Hello and welcome back to another episode of the On the Sideline podcast with Jackson and Kyle. I am Jackson, and I'm joined here, as always, by a man who is very excited to tomorrow night at roughly 8:15 Eastern time to find a nice place to sit, to turn on the television and watch anything but football. Kyle, how are you doing?
I am doing great. I am not watching football. I might go to a Shakespeare play, actually. That'll be fun.
Oh,
so
interesting. I don't know who's still making plays.
They do a little one downtown. It'll be good. Go see Hamlet. Good story.
Yeah. Let me know how it ends.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, for sure. All right. If you like those kind of jokes, we've got plenty more coming.
Yeah, I mean we're filled with bad jokes, so don't worry.
Yes, exactly. Kyle, we have a week of football. Again, a couple of games I'm really excited for, and a lot of games I'm kind of excited for, I guess is what I would say. A lot of games I'm like, yeah, that's football.
There's like 5 games. We can be honest.
Yeah, there's really one game I'm like very excited for, and then a bunch of like, okay.
Yeah, of course. That's kind of how it works. Yeah, it should be a good one overall. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely, like I said, Thursday night we're boycotting here on the On the Sideline podcast. We are gonna pick it, but don't feel obligated to tune in at all. So we'll make it work.
Yeah, apparently my mic is distorted. Let me see. Let me try it like this. Let me know if that sounds better.
It sounds a little better. Is my volume really low? Oh yeah, my volume's low. Okay, there we go. Let's do it.
All right, so sorry about that. We'll see if that. Let me know in the chat if that feels better at all, or if I still need to fix it. But yeah. No. Anyways, yes. As I alluded to, so Kyle, we're doing something a little different this week. We will be not picking a game as we talked about on the last show. The Bears balls. We'll talk about it at the end of the show, I think, but we are not picking it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and just avoid that one altogether. Moving it down to the bottom of my list here. Yeah, like we said, this is just this is an avoidable game, and we are choosing to avoid it.
Yes, so we will. If you're a Chicago or Washington fan, we will preview it at the end. So be on the lookout for that. Also, people in the chat saying it sounds better. So great. Glad my audio is listenable. Again, I think I forgot to adjust it when I was working with it earlier. So yeah, want to just get into the show, Kyle? You kept pace last week. You're still down 7.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about Monday night first?
Oh right, yeah, of course. Monday Night Football. Yes. Monday Night Football. Kyle, what were your thoughts on an entertaining, came down to the wire game with the Raiders and the Chiefs?
This was a great game. Much better than the one that's going to be tomorrow night, guaranteed. This was entertaining. It had drama, and I listen. This is definitely better than blowing the game to the Cardinals. But why can't this Raiders team figure it out right now? What is happening with this team where they jump out to a 17-0 lead in this game? And honestly, that field goal drive, it felt like they could have got down and got another touchdown and possibly gone up 21-0. Instead, they get the field goal, and then it felt like everything flipped on 2 different situations. The first was, I think it was the very next drive, where it was a 2nd and 17 where Jerick McKinnon ripped off a 30-yard run. And all of a sudden, it just felt like that changed the entire momentum of the game. The Chiefs go down after that, and they score. And then the second one, too, was everyone wanted to talk about the roughing the passer call, which was bad. But then on the very next possession, they have 17 seconds left to get points. And the Raiders gift them a face mask that gets them in the position to kick a 59-yard field goal to make it 20-10 before the break. I felt like that was just – it was just a brutal situation there where it felt like this team was easily going to be up 3 scores, and instead they're going to the break up 10.
Yeah, and even worse than the roughing the passer penalty got all the attention because, those type of penalties tend to get attention, especially after the Brady one we saw, a couple nights ago. But to me, the worst penalty was that, to me, it just looked like a phantom holding penalty on the field goal try that the Chiefs had that ended up turning a field goal into a touchdown.
Yeah. Did it look like refs were scared to make a call in Arrowhead Stadium after that roughing the passer?
A little, maybe.
Do you think home field played an advantage in that?
Listen, I'm always a believer, and I think home field advantage on the calls where you're 50-50 on, you're going to give it to the home field. I think that just happened.
Yeah. So it was definitely an interesting dynamic with that. That being said, the Chiefs offense really kind of took it to them in that second half. I think they scored on 3 of their 4 possessions, and if you go back to the first half, they got points on 5 of their final 6 possessions except for the final kneel down. I mean, that was incredible stuff from the Chiefs offense. I felt like after falling down 17 nothing, to basically said, okay, let's turn it on now, and then whip off 30 points on basically 6 drives.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, the Chiefs really did feel like they were scoring at will at the end. Patrick Mahomes really is he's the boogeyman, right? He's the villain in the horror movie that just slowly, or sometimes quickly, could just go down the field and score the points that way. We also saw Devontae Adams was in the news for several reasons after this game. A great game by him, 2 touchdowns, 124 yards. He nearly was inches away from having, and some people say he did have the catch that would have gotten them in field goal range, could have won them the game. Afterwards, he also pushes looked like some sort of camera person, which is now he's now in a legal issue with that one. So a lot of stuff going on with Devontae.
Yeah, he had a great game. Because
Hmm.
not only did he have 3 catches,
He was
124 yards,
uncoverable.
2 touch. I mean, there was like 4 or 5 other pass interference calls that go along with the 3 catches, 124 yards, and 2 scores.
Uh
I
huh.
mean, it was incredible what he was doing. I mean, I don't really know what to think really of the whole push thing. Obviously, he shouldn't have pushed the camera guy,
Right.
but like, is this going a little far? In my opinion, yeah, a little bit. But it's gonna happen when you're famous and noteworthy, and that happens.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, he was terrific in this game. I thought this Raiders offense looked good. I think Josh Jacobs looks the best I've seen him look since his rookie year. I mean,
Hmm.
this guy's running angry and he's
Yeah.
running really tough. And I thought he was dominant in this game. I thought everything for this Raiders offense looked really good. They just didn't get points in the second half, and it seemed like it kind of killed them down the stretch. And they had a chance to win it on the end with that 2-point call and didn't get it. I couldn't believe he didn't get in on that play because the way the pile moved forward and everything,
I
I was
know.
like, oh, Jacobs is in. Okay, that's what a gutsy play. And
Hmm.
then he was stopped short. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. What'd you think about that call to go for it?
I didn't mind it. I mean, like I
Hmm.
said, I think these, fourth down and 2-point things, I think there can be some nuance to it, and I
Hmm.
think that there should be more nuance rather than, looking at the data book and saying, okay, go for it or not. You're on the road at Arrowhead. Patrick Mahomes basically hasn't been stopped for the entire second half. I don't mind you going for the win in that situation. It's going to be tough to go into overtime and beat Mahomes and the Chiefs on the road.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think I probably would have not gone for it just because there was 4.5 minutes left, but I wasn't mad
Yeah.
at the call either.
Yeah, I guess the one thing would be is there's still a ton of variables with that much time left, and then of course your defense does end up getting a stop on the next drive and giving yourself another chance. But I didn't mind it overall in that situation, knowing where you were. Um,
And who knows if they get the stop if the Chiefs are down one instead of up one.
yeah, exactly. So I think the interesting thing with this Raiders team is like I think it's the second best team in the AFC West still. Like from what I've seen, this isn't what I
Hmm.
predicted because obviously, I'm ready to say my Broncos prediction was a miss. Uh,
Uh-huh.
but that being said, I've watching these teams through 5 games. I know this team's 1-4, but I think that the second best team in the West, this West looks underwhelming. And yes, it doesn't feel great to be 1-4 with this difficult start of the schedule. But when you're looking at it, you got the Texans at home, Saints on the road, Jaguars on the road, Colts at home, Broncos on the road, Seahawks on the road. There is a chance here to, probably roll off 6 wins potentially and get right back in the thick of things.
Yeah, 6 winnable games. Even if you win 5 of the next 6, you're above 500. You have a chance there. I agree with you. I think this Raiders season is not over yet, despite and they're getting better. I think you just gotta hope Devontae. It doesn't look like he's gonna get suspended, so at least maybe dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. Where does your numbers put this team?
Was that?
Where does your numbers put this team?
I didn't do it this week, but last week I remember they weren't particularly great. But part of it was Carr he had underperformed early on, so I think that they're kind of one of the teams that's not looking great. They deserve to be what their record is with their analytics, but also it's because I expect Carr to continue to play better, and he played well against the Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is I just think this team needs to find a way to put together 4 complete quarters of football consistently. because we saw it again in this one where the defense was awesome. I think to start the game, Max Crosby was flying around, they were making plays. Then all of a sudden, I mean, it is Mahomes, so you take it with a grain of salt. He gets going and starts whipping off points. And we've just seen this time and time again so far with this Raiders team where they can't put it together for 4 quarters, but in the glimpses that they look awesome, this looks like a playoff team, and we just need to kind of see that more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And Chiefs are good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, nothing that can't be said. Chiefs are good. Travis Kelce with 7 catches, 25 yards, not 125, 25 receiving yards and 7 catches for 4 touchdowns is wild.
Maybe the
Mahomes,
best 25 receiving yard day of all time.
yeah, he's efficient. There you go.
Mhm.
This team can run the ball too. We had talked about this a little bit last week.
Especially when
Mahomes,
two
obviously.
safeties are playing in the end zone every play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, their teams are playing conservative on them, rightfully so. It worked last season, but Jerick McKinnon and guys like that are taking advantage of it.
Yeah, they've adjusted well. Give me a game to pick.
All right, so we're getting off to a start here. Just recapping last week real quick. I felt pretty good about it. Like I had the Dolphins situation where Bridgewater obviously got hurt first at the beginning of the game. I had the Broncos one, which I still feel like I might have been on the right side of that, despite how weird that team's been. And then I also had the Bengals one that I got wrong. And I felt pretty good about that one. And I felt like I was on the right side. They just didn't really hold it at the end. That being said, we're transitioning now. New week. Let's give you Jaguars at Colts.
Jaguars at Colts. I was going to give you this one very early as well because I know your Jaguars are going to Indianapolis now. So they always win in Jacksonville. Can they win in that? They usually lose in Indianapolis, but they usually lose most places these past couple of years. I am picking the Colts to win. I think that this feels like a loser leaves town game, right? This feels like whoever loses is out of it. I just feel like the Jaguars the past couple of weeks, the Jaguars have more weeks this season where they've looked uninspiring than they have where they've looked good. And that's kind of, so have the Colts, admittedly. So, neither of these teams look great, but the Colts defense has consistently played well. The Jaguars defense has consistently played well. This could be a very low scoring game. I could see this one going either way. I do think that I trust the Colts defense a little bit more than the Jaguars defense right now. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, miraculously, somehow these two teams are at 2 wins right now. I'm still in a believer of the Jaguars. Their EPA is still fantastic right now. They're really good in coverage. I don't know how the Colts are going to throw the ball in this game. And I haven't seen Jonathan Taylor's health update. If he's not able to go, then I'm concerned for the Colts in this one, being able to do anything on offense. Because the Colts also have had pretty good defensive start, but the big part of their defense is that they are awesome against the run. And I think the big thing with this Jaguars team is that teams have forced him to drop back and throw the ball lately. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been able to make those throws, and he's made mistakes. Can this Colts team cover like we think they can and realize their full potential is my question. I think I'm leaning Jags on this one, but I don't trust this Colts team right now at all.
I don't trust either of these teams. I really don't.
Yeah.
I know that you're high on Jacksonville. This is probably preseason bias still coming into play of what I felt like the Colts can be. I just have to think that the Colts offense is going to start to figure some stuff out, right? Like it can't just keep being this messy forever because it feels like I'm not saying that they're super talented, but it feels like they're not living up to this talent. And I guess you could say the same about Jacksonville.
Yeah. Not to mention these two teams just played. Like, I don't know how the schedule worked out this way, but the Jaguars beat the brakes off them too. And so,
Right.
like, the Jaguars right now, EPA wise, are top 5 defense in they're a top 5 defense in EPA right now. And like the funny thing is like the Washington Commanders aren't even the team that like tore this defense is the team that tore this defense up in the passing game. Like, yeah, they had the Texans on the schedule, but you look at the Chargers, they kind of tore up Justin Fields or Justin Herbert. I thought they did pretty well against Jalen Hurts, and then they shut out Matt Ryan and the Colts. So yeah, I mean, I think this Jaguars defense is legit. They play like a young team though, and they make a lot of mistakes. And the mistakes the last 2 weeks and week 1 really killed them. I still think that there's a good team in this good team in this franchise.
Yeah. Marcus 415 says there's nothing to figure out. Matt Ryan has washed. I've watched a lot of Matt Ryan. I made a video. I'm not sure if I posted it yet or it's about to be posted about the Thursday night game. It just feels like guys aren't getting open very quickly, and he's like panicking and trying to scramble out. It's like, Matt Ryan, Like you're past the point of where you can scramble outside the pocket. Like you throw the ball away or you throw it to somebody. Like those are your options.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even that guy when he was good. Like
No,
that's the
yeah, he
thing.
could move a little, but he wasn't like he was never a big mobile quarterback.
I mean, the unbelievable thing about this team though is that they are currently, let me look it up here because it's bad. They're 30th in the league in rush EPA offensively.
Uh huh.
Like if they can't do that, not to mention Matt Ryan. I mean, they're 28th in passing dropback EPA. So it's not much better either way. But if they can't do either of those things, what is this team going to be able to do this season? How does this team get to potentially 8 or 9 wins to make a playoff run?
They have to get better. I mean, you just have to
Yeah.
trust that Matt Ryan and Frank Reich, if you're a Colts fan, that's the hope, is that they eventually figure out a way to be decent on offense. Because you don't have to be great on offense, but you have to be decent, and they're not there yet.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor also, by the way, did not practice, so not looking good for him either.
Right. I saw it. I meant to bring it up. Yeah. Tough stuff there. Let's move on. So you gave me that game. I'm gonna give you. I'll give you your team just because I like to torture you, Kyle. I'm giving you Patriots at Browns. Will they go into Cleveland, keep the winning streak alive, and defeat them?
Um, I actually forgot to write this pick down, so I'm going to have to do some
Oh,
quick
unprepared.
sketch.
Give me the
I am
12
going to.
minute.
I'm gonna roll with my team though. I'm taking the Pats
Okay.
on the road. This I think the most surprising development for this Browns team this season is that their defense is cheeks right now.
Mhm.
It is Swiss cheese. It is airy. It can be beaten. I think they're dead last right now in run defense. So this is a bad defense. I think this is a Ramondre Stevenson coming out party. I think he's going to come out here and dominate this game. And I think the Patriots are going to be able to go into Cleveland, control the clock, and win this game and be smarter than Cleveland Browns and win it.
Yeah. I mean, this game's gonna be over in like 2 hours, right?
Yeah, definitely. I
Mhm.
mean, neither of these teams are going to drop back. If there's like more than like 45 passes in this game, something went wrong.
Yeah, and with the Browns' struggles with the run defense on the road, Patriots better, but not by much. 27th in rush EPA allowed, so they're a team that'll
Yeah.
give up some yards on the run as well. So it seems like a big run-heavy game. I don't know. I guess here's a question: who do you trust more, Jacoby Brissett or Bailey Zappi?
I trust the Patriots to put their quarterback in a better position not to make mistakes.
Uh huh.
Like that's the thing. Like I don't think like they're better quarterbacks than Jacoby Brissett, but they're not going to make a lot of they're not going to put him in a position to make, high leverage throws or, turnover worthy plays. He's going to be very conservative out there. Um Mac Jones is practicing though. Limited
Oh,
participant, so we'll see. But I still think either way it's the same situation. They're not going to put him in a high leverage situation.
is there a quarterback controversy?
Not yet. I'm not going there.
Zappi is happy.
Yeah, we're about to get zapped. We'll see.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we'll see. What if he wins? What if he wins again?
If he wins again, maybe we can start talking about it. But I'm not ready to go there yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It should be an interesting one. I don't really have anything else to add. Do you have anything?
Um, I haven't seen the update on him yet, but I think Lawrence Guy would be a huge get back for the Patriots in this one. He's
Sure.
a good defensive tackle. He's been out the last couple weeks. I think he'll be important in that one. But yeah, I mean, I think we're starting to see some glimpses of what this Patriots offense can be. I think Stevenson is terrific. They may not have Damian Harris in this game, but Stevenson, I actually think is the better running back. He's
Hmm.
number 2 in PFF right now, which is unreal. And then the another guy who's, PFF darling, Jacoby Myers, the number 5 receiver in PFF rankings. Um,
Wow.
he's seemingly open every play. So I think we're showing some glimpses of what the Matt Patricia offense looks like. Maybe we can continue to get that going and keep that rolling.
Yeah. I also like the super chat. Do you think that if Stafford keeps playing poorly, McVay would trade him to a bad team like the Lions? Oh wait, yeah, that was you had me up until the ending there. Good one there. No. Can I just say though, to make it about myself for a second? Like I was half right about the Patriots, right? Like the defense, I was completely right about the fact that they would figure this out and that the secondary concerns were they would work. It's just that I didn't expect their offense to be so inept.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's
Hmm.
fair, but I think it's going in the right direction. This defense is also getting better every week. It can cover really well. They just, they don't have a JC Jackson anymore, but they throw so many guys in coverage right now. When you can drop back, Jack Jones, Jonathan Jones, Kyle Duggar, Devin McCourty, Jabril Peppers, Adrian Phillips, when all of these guys are in coverage, it's tough to throw on.
Yeah, Jack Jones and Jonathan Jones, both top 10 PFF graded corners. So there you go.
The
Good
Joneses
stuff
are
there.
rolling. Let's do it.
Jones Joneses are rolling. Let's move on. Kyle, give me a game.
All right. No more beating around the bush here. Let's go ahead and give it to you. Marquee game. Bills favored on the road in Arrowhead. When's the last time you think the Chiefs were home dogs? Let's
Never
go
in
Bills at
Mahomes'
Chiefs.
career.
Never in Mahomes' career. Is that actually confirmed or?
Yeah, I saw that on. Well, I saw it on Twitter, so no, but it's not confirmed. But that's something I saw, and so I just repeated it without fact checking it because that's what I do. You know what? I wasn't gonna do this, but I just feel like the vibe feels right. I think the Chiefs are gonna win. I'm gonna lock up the Kansas
All
City
right.
Chiefs here in the marquee matchup. Give me Kansas City. Give me Mahomes. I'm never gonna. If I have an opportunity to lock up Mahomes just to win, I'm doing it.
That's fair. That being said, I was considering locking up the Bills.
Sure, I get it. Listen, I totally understand.
Everything here writes Bills right now. This defensive line is playing outstanding. They have revenge factor in this game. Josh Allen is coming off basically a perfect week. I mean, everything looks golden for the Bills right now to go and take this opportunity on the road. But it is scary to pick against Patrick Mahomes and to say, "Oh yeah, they'll win by a field goal over Patrick Mahomes, no problem." So it gave me a little bit of trepidation. That's why I gave it to you. I think this Bills team's really good. I think I'd put this Bills team right now as Super Bowl favorites, but they're going to be a good team. That being said, it's tough to pick against Kansas City on the road at home.
Yeah, in Arrowhead, I think winner of this game is Super Bowl favorites, right? We could just say that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I still right now would put the I still think it's the Bills right now, but you could talk me if the Chiefs look really good in this game. You could talk me and putting the Chiefs over them.
Okay. Well, listen. I think the Chiefs have just shown that when they're on, they're unstoppable, and I think the Bills have shown that as well. So that's what makes these both these offenses so fascinating to watch. It really comes down to which offense will be on. This feels like a complete coin flip game.
Yeah. Well, let's go this way. How about this? If I gave you right now AFC champion, Bills, Chiefs, or the field, would you take the Bills and Chiefs or would you take the field?
I would take the Bills and Chiefs.
You think it's that big of a gap right now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I think so. I think getting two teams there, I would feel that. I think that they probably have over 50%. Like, I still think Cincinnati has a chance. Like I still think there's teams that I'm not counting out necessarily, but those feel like the two clear front runners at this point. And again,
Yeah,
it's like the Chiefs will be in the AFC Championship. They're there every year.
that's true. I mean, the Bills' numbers right now are insane. They're already at plus 91 point differential, which is incredible given
Mhm.
the point in the season. And really, the only thing to beat them is basically Tua going God mode um, and heat stroke, taking out basically half the roster. Because that's basically what it took for the Dolphins to win that game. And that's the only time they've been beaten so far this season, or even looked like beatable.
Sure. Yeah. And then somehow the Chiefs lost to the Colts. That's just one of the silliest things.
Yeah, that was a bad loss.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, this Chiefs. I am curious to see what this game's going to look like because I do think that the Bills, like, it's easy to say, okay, so teams are dropping safeties back. The Chiefs are running the ball a lot because teams are dropping safeties back. I don't think it's going to be that easy against this Bills team. I think this defensive line is going to be able to hold up, even if there are safeties are playing deep virtually the whole game. So if they can't establish a running game and get teams to creep up a little bit or make mistakes, can this Chiefs offense still be as effective and as dominant?
Probably. I mean, it's the Chiefs, right? Like it's like the Bills
Yeah.
defense has been incredible, but we just saw like the Buccaneers defense was bodying everybody, and the Chiefs had no issue with them. Like I just feel like yes, the Bills defense is great. The Bills defense is going to make Mahomes have to make tough play after tough play. and Mahomes is probably going to make tough play after tough play. I get it. I understand why the Bills are favored. I totally get it, but I just I don't know. I just feel like it's going to come down to. I know it feels silly, but I just feel like it's going to come down to which quarterback is going to have the better day, and I think Mahomes is better than Josh Allen, so I'm going to pick Mahomes.
That's fair. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a fascinating game. Everybody should watch this one. Everybody not watching Thursday night, make sure you're tuning in for this one. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're missing this one, I mean, what are you doing?
But doesn't this also feel like there's a chance of like the Bills, because they're so mad about the championship game, just blitz them?
But it goes
And
both ways, right? Sometimes you overthink that
yeah,
stuff.
it could be, yeah. Like I wouldn't be shocked also if the Bills win by 3 touchdowns and everybody's overreacting to it.
That's true. No matter who wins, there's going to be a lot of overreactions.
Yeah. So it should be fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited for this one. Let's move on because we spent a lot of time just on we're only 3 games in and almost half an hour into the show. We're going to be here all night, Kyle. Give me a game. Oh no,
I
sorry.
just gave you that
My
one.
turn to give you a game.
Yes.
I'm going to give you Cardinals at Seahawks, the other marquee matchup of this week.
Yes. Not quite the marquee matchup, but this might be kind of fun.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I'm going to take the Cardinals here. I can't pick the Seattle defense. Like Geno Smith was playing out of his mind yet last week. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are doing everything they can to win that game, and this team gives up like 3 60-yard runs to Taysom Hill and loses. I'm going with the Cardinals. I think that they are a slightly better team, mainly because the Seahawks just cannot cover anyone. And I think the big thing with the Cardinals is I think this defense has played better since J.J. Watt came back. And with J.J. Watt back, I think this Cardinals defense looks competent. Now, the Seahawks offense is good, so it may keep up with them a little bit. But I am going to go with the Cardinals to pull this one off.
Yeah, I mean, the weirdest thing has happened with Geno Smith, right? This is the most unusual thing. No one predicted this. Geno Smith's mom did not predict that Geno Smith would somehow come out, and Pro Football Focus has him as the #1 rated quarterback currently through 5 weeks. Whatever you want to say about PFF, he's been legitimately he's outplayed Kyler Murray through 5 weeks. If through this point in the season, he has been the better quarterback, and it's like the Seahawks offense. If we're going to bring up EPA, 4th best drop back EPA, only behind the Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles. Their defense is atrocious. You're absolutely correct. But like, if you're asking which offense I trust more, somehow I'm choosing the Geno Smith-led offense over the Kyler Murray-led offense, at least from what I've seen so far through 5 weeks into the season.
Yeah. It doesn't do justice to just say this defense is bad, though. Like,
it's terrible.
It is almost a full 1/10 of a point worse than the next best defense as far as pass defense. Like, this is horrendous. This is like the Lions are bad. This is horrendous. That's the state of this defense right now, and that's just why I can't pick it. That being said, how mad do you think Pete Carroll is that this passing game's so good that he has to throw the ball?
Oh, he loves it just for this year. Next year he'll be pissed, but this year, because of the Russell Wilson thing, he's having a great time.
Yeah, but they're also, they also run the ball pretty well. The combination of Penny and Walker has been
Penny.
good. Yeah, I mean, those two guys, the offense is 5.5 yards per carry. They have 7 big plays in the run game. I mean, this team can move the ball on the ground too. It's just been unnaturally good in the passing game. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a fascinating matchup there. I think there's going to be a lot of points. I think you should just start betting Seahawks overs automatically. That being said, just because I don't trust him to get stops ever, I'm leaning Cardinals.
Yeah. Again, I understand it. It's weird because someone put in a chat. I didn't realize this sucks, but I guess Rashad Penny is down for the year, so that's unfortunate. Penny was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he was. Guy can't catch a break.
No, finally seems to be living up to the hype, and then that happened. So that sucks. I don't know how I missed that, but yeah, I mean, it's just interesting with the Seahawks. They clearly have the best. They clearly have the best unit in this game with their offense, and also clearly the worst unit in this game with their defense.
Yeah, but that's been them the last 2 weeks, or really the last 3 weeks, and they lost 2 of the games because the Rams are that bad. But
yeah,
This is an interesting spot for the Cardinals for me, because they have a real chance here if they win this game to be 3-3, and Hopkins was 6 games, right? So
Yep.
3-3 with Hopkins coming back. I mean, that's kind of a huge spot. That's a really nice get back. And then for how bad this team looked that first week of the season, which might be more of the Chiefs than actually what this Cardinals team is, plus the injuries they were dealing with to start the year. All of a sudden, if this team's 3-3 with Hopkins back in the lineup, this might be a sneaky playoff team. This team might jump the Rams to end the season.
It's certainly possible. I mean, whoever, wins this game will be 3-3, interestingly enough. Final note I have, Cardinals 3-0, or excuse me, 0-3 at home, 2-0 away, interestingly enough. So this game is away, so maybe that's a good thing for them.
Yeah, good thing for me here. Good pick.
Mhm.
Patting myself on the back real quick.
There you go.
The NFC West is weird too. So the
Yeah.
Seahawks never play a normal game, and the NFC West also plays equally no normal game. So this is going to be whatever we think is going to happen. This might end up like 3-0, just because of
Right.
we're expecting a high scoring, ridiculous game.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that tends to be how, especially, I still remember that 6-6 tie, one of the best games of all time, with the Cardinals and Seahawks. Let's move on. Now you give me a game.
All right. Perusing through the list here, and I'm going to give you what I would consider the most disrespectful line of the season so far.
Mhm.
And I'm talking, we're going Sunday night, man. We are going, is it Sunday night or Monday night? I forgot actually. Cowboys at Eagles. No, it's Sunday night.
Yeah. Yeah. Sunday night. Actually thought you were going to a different game here, but yeah, interesting. So you have this as the most disrespectful line. You know, I felt like there was a couple of lines this week that I'm like, man, if you could lock up an underdog to cover, I would have loved that line. This
Yeah.
was one of them because I do feel like I like the Seahawks. I like the Seahawks. I like the Cowboys +6 here, but straight up, I am picking the Philadelphia Eagles. This was actually also next on my list because I agree with you. I think that this is the Cowboys have played very well. Their defense has been fantastic, but I just feel like I don't know the exact health of Dak Prescott. If Dak Prescott is in, I feel better. From what I understand, I believe I heard that they're preparing as though it will be Cooper Rush again, which I just both defenses have played very well. I think that this Eagles offense has played great. Cooper Rush has done enough to get by. So that feels like a huge difference there. I am picking Philadelphia, but I agree that the Cowboys +6 feels like a good bet.
Yeah, there's a couple things I'm interested in this game. The first thing is the Eagles are kind of playing with their food a little bit, it seems like at times. This team has been basically the best first half team in football.
Best second quarter team in football.
Yeah, best second quarter team in football for the last 4 weeks, for the first 5 weeks of the season. But
Hmm.
you look at the last couple games, they won 2 1-score games the last 2 weeks, basically because they spotted Jacksonville a 14-0 lead, so that was
Hmm.
part of it. But at the same time, like, they had opportunities to put that game away and didn't, and they also had times to put this Cardinals game away, and they didn't do that one. And it was kind of exactly how we scripted that game to go, where the Cardinals almost find a way to come back and tie it at least. Um, I don't know if they're going to be able to get away with that again. Like, how many times are you going to keep, playing with fire and not get burned, sort of thing? So I'm interested in that. The second thing I'm interested in, how does this Eagles passing game look? It's been my kind of thing. I want to see it. I think this is a good secondary. How is Jalen Hurts going to handle playing against a good secondary? We saw it a little bit last season. I think even that Jacksonville game, now there was a lot of different factors too, because it was a downpour and crazy winds that also basically nobody threw the ball. But how does he go against these corners and these safeties and handle that pressure of going against those guys?
Yeah. I definitely understand what you're saying. I think Jalen Hurts is coming off of a couple of not as dominant games. I think he played well against Arizona. He did what he had to do, but he still wasn't as dominant as we've seen him. Still had, 2 rushing touchdowns on today, but the numbers were definitely down last game. I guess part of what I'm interested in, though, is that if the secondary plays well, in some ways, this could potentially be a good Jalen Hurts rushing day. I think against this Cowboys defense.
Well, this defensive line's so aggressive too.
Sure.
Like, how do you handle, like, how did these guys on the defensive line handle the situation up. Like, are they going to still do what they do? And I mean, Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons. He's fantastic. You know, they have good defensive linemen and good pass rushers on these teams. Do you play a more disciplined approach against Jalen Hurts, knowing that if you get caught too far upfield, he's just going to tuck it and run? I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. But I do think that this might be the most fascinating offensive line versus defensive line matchup of the season, right?
Yeah. I mean, talk about great on great. I mean, this should be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this is a if you love trench warfare, you better tune into this game because
Mhm.
this is going to be some good stuff. But I'm really excited to see how that matches up. And the thing is, though, is like, okay, yeah, Jalen Hurts could probably get some rushing yards in this game. At this point, I'm not really denying Micah Parsons can do anything. Can't
Uh-huh.
do it. Like he's athletic enough still probably to chase him down. And didn't he win that like running contest thing at the dumb thing at the Pro Bowl? Like,
Yeah, but Tyreek Hill, like, did not even really try.
but still, I mean, he won the race like
Okay,
against
sure,
other
fine.
fast guys. Like
Uh-huh.
he still probably can track down Jalen Hurts if Jalen Hurts is looking to run.
Sure. Yeah, Micah Parsons a very fast guy. I don't know if we needed a Pro Bowl skills challenge to prove that. Also, I have to say one of the more underrated aspects of this of either of these teams is the Eagles secondary. I mean, with all the love the Cowboys secondary is getting, Eagles are better in drop back EPA this season defensively than the Cowboys are by one spot. Eagles are sixth, Cowboys are seventh, but still, this Eagles team can defend.
I mean, I think the Bradbury thing and the CJ Gardner Johnson trade have been two of the most underrated moves of the offseason. Like
Hmm.
it's turned a team that a couple years ago was like they can't get stops in the air. It's turned into a pretty elite secondary pretty quickly. All of these guys are really good. They complement each other well, and Darius Slay is just playing out of his mind, so that's also helped.
Right. Yeah. I mean, things are going well for Philadelphia. We'll see if they can continue. And schedule is a little bit easy after this one too, so maybe they can keep their undefeated streak going if they can get past this one. But you never know. It's the NFL. Weird stuff happens. Let's move on to let's go to another game now. I'm giving you a game. I'm wondering if this is a lock candidate potentially. I am giving you Bengals at Saints, only a 1.5 point line. This is what I thought you were talking about with the most disrespectful line. Who you going?
I, I was circling it as a lock candidate, but I'm going to hold off. I'm going to stay disciplined. There's another game I like a little bit more.
Okay.
Um, I'm going to go with the Bengals, though. I do think they're a better team. Like, I had no idea what to think. I don't know if I'm just like, am I scared to pick against this Saints team and like not lock against them based off of reputation, or because this team's decent? Part of me think it might just be reputation on my part because if it wasn't for Taysom Hill absolutely losing his mind last week, they could have lost by like 3 touchdowns to the Seahawks.
Hmm.
Like, is this just not a good football team and I'm giving it way too much credit?
No, I think they're a decent football team. I think they've looked a lot. Their offense has looked a lot better since Andy Dalton has taken over at quarterback.
Yeah, that is true. They have played better in that regard. They still defend the run really well. This secondary has been a little worse than I thought. Even, I know Marcus Williams left in the offseason, but I still think it's going to be interesting, I think, just overall to see how this team matches up. But I think it is a little interesting. There is a situation though where I think the Saints secondary with those corners, with a guy like Marshawn Lattimore, that they could lock up the Bengals receivers on the outside. But how much leeway? Because this is a team that likes to say Lattimore, go take their best guy one on one. I also see the other side of this where we've seen a lot of teams give a lot of respect to Jamar Chase. They're putting 2 guys on him basically at all times. Are the Saints going to change up what they do, or are they going to put Lattimore on him one on one and say good luck?
Well, the Saints never. I mean, the Saints will play safety help with Jamar Chase. I can't imagine they'll leave Lattimore on him 1-on-1.
Yeah. I just think it's an interesting matchup. I'm interested to see how that game goes. But I think it's an okay team, but I just don't know how much I trust this Saints team right now.
I just realized why the line is so low. Zach Taylor is 100% going to run this ball 1,000 times in this one. Saints are going to play a lot of cover two. Zach Taylor is going to go crazy. Joe Mixon will get 3 yards per carry, and he'll run the ball, and he'll get 90 yards because of how often he runs.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about this the other day too. So there's been a narrative. I know you're not an NBA guy that much, a little bit.
A little
Uh,
bit. I dabble.
yeah, your Sixers, trendy pick right now.
Let's
Um,
go.
so there was this whole thing in the NBA a couple years ago where nobody liked the Atlanta Hawks and Trae Young. They said the offense was too predictable, boring, all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
then they made the Eastern Conference Finals, and everyone was like, "Well, I guess we were wrong about Trae Young." And then the next season, this year, they made the play-in game, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, Trae Young, maybe we were right all along," and they just got fluky conference final run with Trae Young. And it feels like this is happening to Zach Taylor, where everyone's like, Zach Taylor, terrible play caller, keeps running the ball into the defensive tackles, even though he has Joe Burrow, all this stuff. And they make the Super Bowl, so everyone's like, maybe we were wrong on Zach Taylor. And then all of a sudden, everyone's swinging back, and I was right all along on Zach Taylor. It feels like it's just come full circle.
Yeah. For the record, I was always out on Zach Taylor.
He did make changes during the playoffs. He made changes during the playoffs.
A little.
He did better.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't as bad, I suppose. Let's move on. Let's go to Kyle, give me a game.
All right. Going back to the disrespectful lines, I'm going to catch you on one of these, I think, this week.
Okay.
Jets at Packers.
Jets at Pack. Wow, yeah, a bit of a surprise. I have 4 games on my list ahead of this one. So, yeah, I think the Packers will win this one. That's my hot take. We talked about the angry team. I definitely feel like the Packers will be angry in this one, coming off of a tough loss. We've talked about we kind of previewed last week. We talked about how the Packers sometimes when they have to travel underperform. That ended up working out with them losing to the other New York team. Zach Wilson's played well through 2 weeks. And this Packers defense has not played as well dominant as we expected it to. But I still think that I trust Aaron Rodgers. I trust this Packers team. I think the Packers are going to win. And if the Packers lose this one, then it's, sound the alarm bells.
Yeah. Who's getting open for the Packers in this game against the Sauce Boss, Sauce Gardner, and DJ Reed? Who's getting open?
The people that Matt LaFleur scheme up plays for.
Okay. I mean, it's going to be a lot of Randall Cobb, I think, and I still don't love that.
Sure.
I think this Jets secondary is good. I think they might be able to compete with this Packers passing game. Now, the running game, we'll see. But that being said, I think it feels really easy to make the Packers one-dimensional. And that's crazy because Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback. But it's just such a bad receiving situation. I think there's a chance that the Jets can frustrate them a lot with this pretty good secondary.
I can see it. I can I get I can see how that can happen, but I still sort of feel like I still trust Matt LaFleur to be able to scheme stuff open, even against the Giants. He was still scheming stuff open. Like this is gone are the days where the Packers are going to score over 3 points per drive, like they did a couple years ago, right? Like that's just not what this team is anymore. Losing Devontae Adams, like they just can't do that. But I still think they'll be able to do enough to at least be solid here.
Yeah, but I mean, as we're going to see in my lock here in a second, I think this Jets team's better than the Giants. I really do.
Okay. Interesting. I can see the logic behind both. I should mention Jets 23rd in drop back EPA. So it's not like their defense is they're not like them giving up. What am I trying to say? They've given up some yards through the air.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they got torched in a couple plays in that Ravens game, but
Sure.
I think overall they've played pretty well. And then
I agree.
last week was a little weird because of the whole quarterback situation. But yeah, I just think it's a I think it's an interesting matchup. Where would you bet spread side? I think I'd go Jets +7.
I wouldn't bet this one, to be honest. I feel like I could see it going either way. I get the logic. I still just part of it is just why I kept giving you Zach Wilson games the past couple of weeks. Like I still don't know who Zach Wilson is. He's played well through the past 2 weeks. Very cool to see him he feels way more comfortable in the pocket and all of that stuff. Like the easy plays he's getting at a way higher level, except for checkdowns. Those he will never get. Don't check the ball down, Zach Wilson. Throw the ball away instead, because like you just can't hit those. But everything else he seemingly is doing a world better. So, but it's 2 weeks, so I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, grip it or rip it, man. It's what he's best at. Yeah, I just think I don't know. Just part of me is like, I think this Packers team can't blow anyone out, so that's probably why I go Jets +7. Because
Sure.
I mean, they beat the Bears by 2 scores, which is barely a NFL football team. So I mean, outside of that, they've basically been in all close games this season.
Yeah, and even that game was surprisingly close. So one thing I'll say though as well is what's given the Packers some trouble is like this man coverage thing, which is not what the Jets typically do. Now Robert Saleh is someone who will change things up. I'm interested in seeing if he'll do that in this one.
Yeah, I am interested in seeing the matchups. I just think it feels really easy right now, like you said, to man up these receivers and make them one dimensional on offense. Now that being said, AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones isn't a bad one dimension, but
Right.
it's just weird to see like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to hand the ball off 35 times tonight. Okay,
Right. Let's move on. You talk about one so we talked about one team in the AFC East. Let's talk about another team in the AFC East. Let's go. I'm going to give you the Vikings Dolphins. Who you got?
yeah, I don't love the road favorite, so I'm not locking it up, but I am going to take the Vikings just because I think I saw enough in Skylar Thompson to say this isn't it. So
Uh-huh.
it sounds like Skylar Thompson is going to play. Not loving that matchup, even though I think if the Dolphins were healthy at quarterback, they should light up this Viking secondary. They should put 45 on this Viking secondary.
Mhm.
Quarterback's unhealthy though, so I'm going with the Vikings in this one to be able to hold this off even on the road. Um, I don't think Skylar Thompson's that kind of guy, so I'm going with the Vikings because of that.
Yeah, I saw Tua did return to practice, but he was limited, so I'm not expecting that to, who knows about that. Kyle, top story at this hour though about this game. Dolphins head coach removes the ping pong table from the locker room before a Vikings game. Are you nervous now about picking the Vikings?
Was this a real story?
Yes, this is the story that happens all the time. Is the NFL is just a circular head coaches removing ping pong tables because they need to focus, and then giving ping pong tables because they need to get more camaraderie.
All right, well, maybe they'll focus a little more, but you know who needs to focus is the secondary, which has been bad. This is another one of those secondaries where this is the third worst secondary in football. Like, and it's not even like close to the Raiders, who are the fourth worst. They're closer to the Lions and the Seahawks right now than they are the Raiders as far as defensive dropback EPA. Like, did you ever expect to see that from the Miami Dolphins?
No, yeah, it's one of those. It is just one of those like who knows of coverage, right? It's just like
Yeah.
how can you get this is the coverage unit that like I had as my number one coverage unit entering the season. Like coverage is the hardest thing to predict in football.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, but at the same time, we didn't expect all of these guys to be bad, and they're all pretty bad right now. So it's a shocking revelation with this team. I think the Vikings are going to be able to throw on them unless I see a change this week. Um, I just this Dolphins team, like I know the quarterback situation hasn't helped, but they've also looked just like a bad football team the last couple weeks. Especially when obviously Tua was out. Does does Tua change things that much? You feel like should he?
A little. I mean, one thing about Skylar Thompson, who again, neither one of us are like sitting here saying is going to be a superstar, but it's like maybe give him some first team reps that could help.
Yeah, we'll see how they scheme it up. Like, I think Mike McDaniel is one of those guys who might be able to scheme up a good game plan. Like,
Mhm.
it could be a huge game script game for them.
I
Like,
mean,
if they're
Skylar Thompson probably like was meeting some of these offensive players like in the huddle like for the first time.
yeah, I mean, there's a real chance for that. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think if the Dolphins are willing to play action first down, get him some easy throws. Maybe they keep in this game and pull it out in the end. But I think from what I've seen without Tua in the lineup, it's been bad, and it's been even worse with Skylar Thompson. So I got to go the other way on this one.
Yeah. My last note on this is Kirk Cousins would love to throw away this game, right?
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, this
This feels
feels
like the
like
time, right?
yeah, it's a really dumb Vikings loss waiting to happen.
Yeah, I feel so. They almost felt that way last week against the Bears. Not quite. Let's move on. Give me a game.
Um, all right, let's go with you know what? I think this is probably the best dog out here right now. Second best dog out there right now. So let's go 49ers at Falcons.
Okay, 49ers at Falcons. Yeah, I have the 49ers winning. Obviously, I think that we all know where we're going to pick from here on out. Um, I think the 49ers defense has played fantastic. I think that the 49ers offense has started to pick it up. They've had some rough patches with Jimmy Garoppolo, kind of, two quarterbacks figuring out who's the guy. But now Garoppolo's kind of fully in the mix. Feels like their offense is firing on all cylinders. Their defense is firing on all cylinders. I think the Falcons are really going to struggle to move the ball in this one, and they'll probably struggle to cover and the struggle to play defense in this one. I think this could be a lock candidate. I like the 49ers -5.5.
I was thinking it too, but at the same time, I've just been going through with this 40. I mean, they're doing it again. I don't know how this team keeps doing this, but I'm looking at it. Jimmy Ward's out. Jason Verrett's out. Emmanuel Mosley's now out. Nick Bosa's questionable. Eric Armstead, I don't think played last week. So you just keep going through this. That's what 5 starters are just named who are going to be out. Like, granted, there's still good players on this defense, but how many injuries can a team actually go through before it starts to hurt a little bit? I'm a little worried about this defense being able to hold up in this one. Not to mention Trent Williams still out. I think there's a few things that I'm a little concerned just because of those things.
And their starting quarterback's out on top of it. But the thing is, don't we say this every year? Like, don't we just say this every year to 49ers? Oh, well, they're too injured. And then they still make it, deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what they do. And I do trust this kind of regime to figure it out. I think D'Amico Ryans is as good as it gets right now as far as defensive coordinators go, and they've looked really good. But yeah, I just think like there's going to become a point, though, if they keep piling up injuries where the talent is just going to be too much to overcome, I think.
I can see it. Again, this 49ers defense has been by far the best defense in football, according to, EPA per play so far this season. But you're right. The injuries are an issue. And, Atlanta's scrappy, right? They're the scrappy team, right? They're the team that everyone likes, even though we all know they're not good.
They are. I mean, they're a very fun team. I will say, they did score 2 touchdowns at the end of that Buccaneers game and gave themselves a chance to win. This offense has not looked good since Cordarrelle Patterson went out. Basically, after he went out in that Browns game, going into this Buccaneers game, this Falcons team has not looked the same on offense, and I think that's been a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching that Buccaneers game, it's like, man, Mariota is really keeping his team in it. That's never a sign you want to have as like that should not be the way you have a Mariota offense. It should be the Mariota is running the offense well, not Mariota is having to make plays, to make this thing work.
Yeah, and even then, like, he was 14 of 25 for 147 yards. Like, he ran the ball well, but it's like it hasn't been quite the same. And I think part of it is like, okay, there's 2 guys in the passing game. There's Drake London and Kyle Pitts when he's on the field. So if those guys, if you're able to find a way to scheme up those guys, it's kind of hard for this team to move the ball a lot.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you alluded to this being a lock candidate. I thought about maybe making you punishing you for your mistake of letting me know. I was thinking about maybe not picking it and letting that be the undrafted game, but no, I will not. I will give you the Ravens at the Giants. Why are you locking up the Giants to upset the favorite Ravens?
I'm locking up the Ravens. This Giants team has been fun. This run has been kind of crazy. But this is a different class of opponent, I feel like. And I feel like right now, we've seen in the NFL, we've seen these nice runs, and then it comes crashing to a halt because they lose out to better teams. I think the Ravens are a better team. I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a field day against this front line, and I think he should be able to win this game easily.
How dare you, sir? I mean, this Giants team, with all the heart they show.
A lot of heart. Heart doesn't stop Lamar Jackson, though. I got to say, it doesn't.
Probably not. Might be tough.
The thing is like this Giants team, they're not lousy at anything besides, signing
Football?
good wide receivers.
Right.
Like, besides getting good wide receivers, which is the crazy thing right now is like, that's kind of been like what the Ravens are struggling with is good wide receivers right now. So like, if you're able to, if you can't get open on this Ravens team, I think it's really hard to beat this defense. So I think they're going to be aggressive. I think they're going to throw a lot of different blitzes at Daniel Jones, confuse him. He's probably going to fumble the ball because that's what Daniel Jones does best. And yeah, I think that the Ravens should go and win this one by a touchdown.
Yeah. Good point in the chat. Wink Martindale revenge game. Wink Martindale knows Lamar Jackson.
Sure.
Like he personally knows him. Like they were on the same team.
Yeah, that's nice. I'll go Ravens.
Yeah, well, the Giants are hilarious because like their stats, like nothing about the Giants, like looking at them on paper would lead you to believe they're 4-1. Like you think that they're like maybe 3-2 if they got lucky. With like they're a mediocre, like their defensive statistics are mediocre, their offensive statistics are mediocre, and somehow they're 4-1. I kind of agree with what you're saying. I feel like but I don't know. I mean, people both want they're just weird because it's like the only thing great about them is their record. But like their record's great. So it's like you have
Yeah.
to kind of respect that a little.
This feels like everyone doubted Tennessee and said Tennessee was fraudulent last year as a 1 seed, and the Giants basically said, "Oh yeah, we'll watch this." I mean, this is taking this to an extreme. But
Hmm.
this just screams small sample size, and also, having the Bears and Panthers on the schedule to start the year also helped get you a couple wins. I think it's going to start catching up to them here. Maybe it won't though, because after this they got the Jaguars, Seahawks, Texans, Lions. So maybe this team's like 8-2 at some point, and we're like, what's happening?
Yeah, I mean they have a very easy schedule. I'm convinced the Giants are going to win, going to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. It'd be crazy. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be like the wildest thing, but I mean, they're in a position now. They put themselves in a position. Daniel here has reminded me that Daniel Jones has only turned the ball over 1 time. What percentage do you think that is, Daniel Jones?
100,
Yeah.
100%. That is Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones had that stat in his back pocket, ready to go.
Uh, Daniel Jones. If you told me one quarterback is currently watching this stream right now, I think Daniel Jones would be high on the list.
um, yeah, probably. I feel like Rodgers would watch a lot of stuff just to like get mad.
Okay, I think Baker Mayfield another candidate.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Oh, Kyler Murray, something to listen to while you're playing video games.
Should we, while not watching film,
Right.
films on in the background while he's watching our podcast? Should we draft 32 quarterbacks most likely to be watching our podcast?
Yeah, I think that would be Tom Brady last on that list.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to get onto YouTube. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. That'd be tough. Any other final thoughts? I mean, you're right. The Ravens deserve to be favored. This feels like the game where we have all things. If we don't look at the records, it feels like we have a championship contender going up against a team, an okay team, and it feels like this is the game that the Ravens should win by 20. But like, it's football. Who knows?
Yeah, like everything's coming out to Giants. It feels like this is the market correction game. And I just don't see any scenario where the Ravens are 3-3, the Giants are 5-1 heading into week 7. So yeah, I think that this feels like a market correction game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Should be an interesting one. Wouldn't be shocked at all if this is a big Lamar game. Give me a game.
Let's go Monday night, I guess. Let's do Broncos at Chargers. The last Broncos primetime game of the season. Who are you picking?
Oh, we don't get any more.
No, thank God.
Yeah, I'm picking the Chargers to win this one. I mean, surprised the Chargers are 5.5-point favorites, but I guess I get it. I mean, I don't know. The Broncos do some things nicely. Like I guess here's the question with this game is Russell Wilson was just downright bad last week. Like, there's no excuses. Like in the past, I've kind of defended him. He's been in a tough situation, learning a new offense, all that stuff. He was missing throws. He was missing reads. I mean, that was a bad performance by Russell Wilson. And that's kind of the thing is it's like, if Russell Wilson legitimately sucks, like this is a really tough spot for the Broncos to be in.
For the next 5 years, it's a tough spot to be in. Yeah, I think it's a potentially catastrophic thing. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, I think they're in a tough spot in this game. That being said, the thing that's keeping this team in, and like, I can't write this team off just yet. I mean, they're 2-3, and I'm low on them. But this is the top 5 defense in football right now. I mean, they're not quite like it's not quite 49ers good through the first 5 weeks of the year, but this is a really good defense that's built really good at the front. The coverage has been really good this season. I think they're a top 5 coverage unit basically this year too. Everything looks really good on that side of the ball. It's really, they need points because there's basically if Russell Wilson has played to his full potential, which maybe it's this injury thing, which he's probably going to carry with the whole year. I mean, if this team is there a chance this team's 5-0 because of how good this defense is if Russell Wilson's healthy or playing at his best?
Yeah, I mean, you could certainly make that argument. Also, Kyle, it turns out you are a liar because Elijah in the chat said we actually get Broncos Chiefs Sunday Night Football in December unless it gets flexed. So how could you?
Yeah, let's go ahead and flex that out now. I'll make the
Okay,
call.
I guess you're probably right. This will be the last primetime game.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. I'll look through the schedule and figure out a game for that one. I'll decide it right now.
Kyle, what is the Chargers?
They are a football team.
Hmm.
So this is another weird team. Like this is another team where like you talked about the Giants being kind of mediocre. This Chargers team's kind of mediocre at everything too, except for quarterback, right? Like literally
Yeah,
just quarterback.
I mean, and even like their defense has just downright not been that good this year.
Right. Yeah, it really hasn't. They still can't stop the run. Shocking that Sebastian Joseph Day wasn't the answer. Um,
Right.
you know, I didn't understand why that signing was heralded as fixing the run defense like it was Aaron Donald. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this defense isn't good. This team can't run the ball. And to be quite honest, like, I don't really love their passing game, even though I think it's like top 10 in the league, because I don't really love their receiving options right now outside of Mike Williams. And it's really just comes down to can Justin Herbert be an MVP player, which in a couple of the games this season that they've won, he has been. In the games they lost, he hasn't been at that level or he's been playing through injury.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought? In this game, it's like, oh well, clearly the Chargers massive quarterback advantage, right? I mean, when this season started, it didn't feel like there's a massive quarterback advantage in these two teams. I mean, Herbert's great, but Wilson has always also been great. Now it feels like with Wilson doing his thing, like that feels like that alone means the Chargers have to be favored.
Yeah, I agree. It really feels that way. This Broncos, I mean, if the Broncos get blown out in this game, which I think there's some potential for it, like the Broncos have to be on level 100 for panic meter, right?
I think they're already there. I mean, I don't know what levels are, so I don't know like exactly
Yeah.
what the scale is or how is what I don't know. Wait, maybe it starts at 100. Maybe 100 is the first level. So in that case, probably maybe 1,000.
Yeah, I mean they definitely need some help, that's for sure. And
Hmm.
without Javonte Williams out there, it's looked even worse. So
Yeah, yeah. Hold on to the football, Melvin Gordon. Let's move on. So this is the final game that we're picking. The last two games we will not pick. We will talk about though. I'm going to
wait,
give
we're
you
only not picking. We got 2 games left.
correct. One is the Balls Bears, right?
No, we still have Bucks, Steelers, Panthers, Rams, right?
Yeah, but you picked first, so I'm giving you Buccaneers Steelers, and then Panthers Rams is the undrafted game.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yes.
I'm with you now.
Okay, we're good. We're back.
All right. Um,
Okay.
I thought about locking this one up too. I did originally before picking on the Ravens, but I am going to take the Buccaneers. The Steelers team stinks. It's kind of fallen back to earth. This defense, which had played well to start the year, we thought suddenly is not playing well, to
Hmm.
say the least. This seems like what's his face has to be happy, Byron Leftwich, because he's going to be able to run the ball on this team. That's for sure.
Uh
Um,
huh.
there is not, I'm like, there's not a lot to like about this Steelers team. And even then, like they lost 38-3, and I didn't think Kenny Pickett stunk. So I just think it's a bad football team, and they're outmatched in this one.
Yeah, it was the weirdest. It was one of the better quarterback performances by a team that lost 38-3. You'll see.
Yeah, he was decent.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. I thought he was pretty good. They couldn't really finish a lot of drives. Like they actually got yards in that game. I think they finished with over 400 yards, or not quite. They were close to 400 yards. But yeah, I mean they moved the ball pretty effectively. I thought on that Bills team. But yeah, I mean they couldn't finish drives. Uh, CJ is right. TJ Watt, key missing piece. I think so, but at the same time, like it's very clear that TJ Watt adds a lot to this team, but would this be a top 15 defense if TJ Watt was there? I don't even know if that were the case.
Well, currently they're 20th in EPA, so maybe.
They'd be close, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it feels like it's still a pretty bad defense with a really good player on it.
Yeah, they got a few really good players. I feel like you're really harsh on the Steelers defense. Steelers defense is okay. They got killed by Buffalo. Buffalo was they had no answer for that. But I think that they're not the worst in the world.
It's not the worst, but it's not going to be competitive, especially if their offense isn't up to par.
Sure, I agree. I get it. And the one thing that definitely has to concern you if you're a Steelers fan, the Steelers, passing offense, bottom five, Buccaneers passing defense, top five. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a tough matchup.
Like honestly, at this point, if the Bengals long snapper doesn't go down, this team's probably 0-5.
Yeah,
That's really what this season is at this point.
yeah. No, it's been tough.
Yeah. So it's a tough season for them. This felt like a rebuilding year anyway, but we were just kind of like, I don't know. Mike Tomlin's there, but it's still,
Mhm.
maybe Mike Tomlin can't make miracles.
Well, and that's literally why I gave you the game. It's like, yeah, Mike Tomlin's there. Like that's just like that's what you always say about the Steelers. I guess we should talk about the Buccaneers, right? Like they feel like I don't know why we spent the whole time talking about the Steelers in this segment, but this feels like a game. If the Buccaneers are going to get right, you have to cover the spread here, right? It's like I obviously I'm a Buccaneers fan. I'm just like, can we just get one game where we just because the Falcons game was that way until the end when we sort of fell apart. So can we just get one game where we look like the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers again?
Yeah, I think you need to kind of have a wake up call here. So maybe this is the game where the offense kind of gets right because this is a top 10 defense right now. And that's a top 10 defense and getting torched 1 week too, and still
Hmm.
being ranking in the top 10 through 5 weeks. So that's how good it's been. This is right now currently the worst run team in football. And I think that needs to improve a little bit, obviously. But yeah, I mean, this feels like a get right game for the offense, and let's see it start to get right and get rolling.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to. So this is the game that went undrafted, but we will still talk about it. The Panthers. So if you're keeping track at home, Panthers at Rams. We will not be. No one doesn't. This is a great way to make our scores lower, Kyle. But it's not picking a couple games.
Yeah, we should do this every week. No, just kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. Panthers, Rams. Again, not kind of similar to what we talked about the Buccaneers. This feels like a game. It's like, hey, Rams, you just won a Super Bowl last year. Uh, Cover the spread. Beat the Panthers by 20. Show what you're doing. And also, kind of a weird thing where I feel like every time a team fires a coach, they look way better the next week. So maybe you got that going.
Well, I was gonna say, is this the narrative game where it's like the team rallies around the interim? I don't even know who the interim coach is for this one.
Steve Willis, Wilkes.
Steve Wilkes. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Cardinals legend, Steve Wilkes.
right.
All right.
Yes, got
Um,
him, Kyler Murray.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, maybe they rally around him. It galvanizes the team and they figure things out. But that being said, Baker Mayfield's still on the other side. The big thing is like, I
Yeah,
don't
but
think
Matt
this.
Stafford's on the other side.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hmm.
I don't think this Panthers defense is bad. And so, like, do they slow down the Rams a little bit? Like, that's the thing I'm concerned about. If the Rams can't move the ball again, like, how bad of a team do we have to see them struggle against before we're really concerned?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the Rams, again, we're using EPA. Rams are 12th, Panthers are 13th. So, I mean, they're right next to each other here. Although, obviously, one thing that makes it also fascinating on offense, the Panthers are 32nd, but the Rams are 30th right now. So,
Mm.
both these teams very close in terms of the statistics. And that's definitely concerning. I do think it's possible. And listen, every defense has slowed down this Rams offense. I mean, this Rams offense can't play. They're
Yeah.
completely Cup dependent, and Stafford's not playing well on top of it. If Stafford plays good, okay, you'll be better. But like, if Cooper Cup is covered, the Rams do not win plays. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
where they're at right now. To win a play, they need Cooper Cup to be open.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, I did watch the end of that game too and saw Baker got hurt and totally forgot he got hurt.
Yeah, you said it,
So,
and it made no difference to me. Yeah, PJ Walker is in whatever. It's
yeah.
irrelevant.
Yeah. But I agree with you on the Rams offense. It's dependent on one guy. And it just like, so we all heralded this strategy that they ran where, they were going to sell the farm and build this team up for a Super Bowl through trades.
Hmm.
And now we're seeing, and they were going the best part about it was they were hitting on late round picks too, which
Uh-huh.
also helped. Like, especially in the secondary, they were hitting on guys in the secondary for their team to kind of make things work. But now we're seeing the effects of missing on draft picks. Van Jefferson's been on IR, so that's one thing. Tutu Atwell is a miss. Um, Missing on Allen Robinson in free agency. Missing on Cam Akers in the draft. All this stuff has kind of gone against them in that way because they haven't hit on these draft picks too. Even though they sold out for a lot of their early picks, they're missing on the late picks now too, and it's not working out.
You could argue that. I would also say like it's part of this too. You now go out and you gave everyone raises as top of this. I mean, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, all getting big money at this point. Leonard Floyd makes a ton of money. I mean, this is that factoring in? It's just like you have less money to go around than you've had in previous years.
Yeah, a little bit. But those guys are still playing at a high level. Besides Stafford, like Donald and Ramsey are still playing really well. They did
Sure,
lose a
but
few guys in that secondary,
in the
but
past, when they're making less, then it still helps you.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think there's a little bit of that, but too, it's just like they're still like guys like we expected Cam Akers to be a pretty good football player. He doesn't look like he's going to be in the NFL next year.
Uh huh. Yeah, no, I
Uh,
get it. And again, the cap is weird. Like Matt Stafford's contract is one of the weirdest contracts going because like his cap number isn't that high, but like the way he's getting paid is high, and he's getting currently, listen to his cap numbers for the next 5 years of Matt Stafford. It's 13 million this year, 20 million next year, and then 50 million for the next 3 years. So if Stafford doesn't turn it around, the Rams are in trouble.
yeah. Um, what would you rather have, that contract or the Russell Wilson contract?
Or interesting. To me,
Yeah.
it's what would I rather have, Matt Stafford or Russell Wilson? And I think that I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I'd probably. Is it crazy to say Russell Wilson? Just because, like, I feel like Russell Wilson has been a much better player at his peak than Stafford is.
Yeah, that's true. Although, isn't Wilson's contract longer?
It might be. Maybe I'll take Stafford. At least gives you a couple years to stay keep the championship window open for next couple years.
Yeah. They're both bad right now, though. They definitely both look bad. And maybe, I know Wilson's hurt too, but maybe you could attribute it to this shoulder thing, elbow thing, whatever's going on with Stafford. Um, it could be that, but I think they really do need help. This team desperately needs Odell Beckham to get healthy and come back to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, how crazy is it though that we're like, oh, what this team needs is for a player who's not on their team to get healthy.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point. And I mean, the thing is, too, is I haven't even heard Odell Beckham getting rumored to the Rams. There's a lot of
Yeah,
Patriots buzz lately.
well, right. I've heard Packers, I've heard Giants, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Come to the Patriots, Odell. We'll take you in.
That'd be fun. I like that. What would be the weirdest team for him to go to? Like the Bears?
Probably the Panthers
Yeah, probably.
with
Let's
Baker
talk.
Mayfield.
Right. Yeah, that would be great. Actually, I love that. All right. All right. So let's move on. That's our show, Kyle. Covered every game. We're ready to go.
Yeah, I guess there is a Thursday night game. I guess we have to talk about. So
This game should be again, if you're like me and love a good hot mess game, should be a good hot mess game, right? Justin Fields trying to do it all with his untalented team. Carson Wentz, who knows what we're going to get with him, right? He's, he'll be good one play, bad another play. There's Kyle, I had a thought about this game because we said we're not going to watch it. I will not watch it. Okay, out of solidarity with you, I will stay away. But I have to say, like, what if like there's like a Miles Garrett helmet swing incident, and now I miss it and don't make a video on it because of this agreement we made?
well, you're just going to have to taste the risk there. I mean, the most likely helmet swing candidate is Ron Rivera ripping Carson Wentz's helmet off and hitting Carson Wentz in the head with it. Like, that's the most
Uh
likely thing to happen. Like, you said, what are we going to get from Carson Wentz? I know exactly what we're going to get from Carson Wentz. We're going to get terrible quarterback play, and we're going to get Ron Rivera saying something in the press conference again. Like, this is going to be a terrible team. This is a bad football team, and it's crazy because there's talented players on this offense. You look at, we've talked about how good these receivers are. Even a guy like De'Ami Brown had a couple big plays. There's too much talent on this team for this team to be this middling and this boring and this awful to watch.
yeah, I mean, I can't say it any better than what you just said. I think that yeah, well said.
I don't know. This is a decent roster. Like, I just don't see why this team's so bad.
I miss
Well,
Chase
I know
Young.
it's why, because it's Carson Wentz.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. I think that there's been some underperforming things. Like I think the receiving core as a whole has underperformed a bit from what we expected.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe that's Carson Wentz's fault. I don't know, but like that's been part of it.
yeah, this secondary also hasn't really played up to scratch too.
Hmm.
Uh, there's a couple things going on with it,
Yeah,
but
William Jackson, I guess, just sucks on Washington.
Yeah, yeah, he's kind of done. They have some young guys back there too that really, I think, are kind of taking some bad reps. So I don't know. I don't really know what to think of this team. I think that it's Ron Rivera and Carson Wentz are coaching and playing for their next jobs, but can't get along. So that's a bad recipe.
Washington has a great long snapper.
That they do. That's an
Yeah,
important part of the game. I
Cameron
wrote a
Cheeseman.
whole
What a
yeah.
name.
I wrote a whole story for my newspaper on long snapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 800 words. It was a pretty good one.
Huh. I might not read it.
You probably won't. It's okay.
Yeah. What was it about? Give us the the log line.
Oh, this kid at a local school for us. He's signing a scholarship. Go long snap for UTSA. So good for him.
Okay, cool. Good for him. We'll be following his career closely here.
Yeah, maybe we'll make the NFL.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, I mean, it would help to have a name like Cameron Cheeseman, who was drafted too. Why would you draft a long snapper?
Was he drafted as a long snapper, or did he just end up long snapping?
No, he was drafted as a long. I remember he was drafted in the 6th round. I remember a lot of Packers fans wanted him because of the name. It would have made sense. But Washington draft. Why draft a long snapper?
I guess it's an important position. You want to make sure you get it. I mean,
I feel like there's
I
enough.
shouldn't say that because Patriots took Joe Cardona was like not only was he drafted, he was like a 5th round pick. Like
Yeah. Bill Belichick, I felt was the one who, like, if there was a superstar long snapper, how like if there's remember when Saquon Barkley came out and it was like he was like the running back guy, like he's like if there was the long snapper version of that, when do you think Bill Belichick drafts him?
round 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think whatever he's projected, he drafts him 2 rounds earlier.
Yeah. I will never have a block punt. Thank God.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, we covered that game nicely. Good stuff there. Kyle, that's your show.
Yeah, let's that was good. Remember, everyone take tomorrow night off. Enjoy your night. Reigns of Power season finale. That'll be fun. If you're gonna stay up till midnight, maybe tune into that. So good stuff there. That's what I recommend.
Yeah. I haven't watched that. I know my brother was like reading like the old books, and he told me a story about how like I don't remember the exact name, but it's something where like he's reading one of his books, and they're not like narratively at all, and like he's just like there's one character who's named like Mordor or whatever, not Mordor because that's like the thing, but it's in the
That's the land.
yeah, well, it's named like I don't know, named like Margar or something, and then like in the middle of like randomly like a couple like a third in, it's like and now we'll go by Melvin or something, and it's just like why did he just randomly change his name a third the way like you wrote the book why did you change the name?
Yeah. Uh Tolkien's an interesting read, I gotta say.
Uh
But he does some pretty creative stuff as far as world building goes. This is getting super nerdy. Sorry, people. But the show is excellent. I think they've done a really good job with it. I
okay,
recommend it. Season finale tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
okay, interesting, yeah. Well, good stuff. I might not watch it.
You probably won't, but it's okay. That's fine. I'll watch it
I've been
myself.
watching a lot more movies recently. A lot less. I watched The Big Lebowski yesterday. Top 5 movie of all time. Big Lebowski.
Top 5 all time.
Absolutely.
What's your top 5 movies of all time?
Ooh. Let's see. I think I would go. It's always tough to go like the best. I think Goodfellas has got to be there, right?
Goodfellas is a good one.
Mhm.
I'm more team The Departed. I think The Departed might be a better gang movie,
I,
personally.
I like it. I don't know if I would put it in top 5 though.
Yeah, that's fair. I get it. It's super Boston. So
Uh
if you
huh.
hate Boston people, you're gonna hate The Departed.
Uh-huh. I think A Clockwork Orange is probably also on there. I think that's such like a unique story.
Yeah. Pro Citizen Kane.
Yeah, I need to watch that again. Part of it is like my thing of movies. Like I watched a ton of movies when I was like 21, and I'm like, I love Citizen Kane then, but 21-year-old me was an idiot, so I have no idea if it's actually good or not.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. You know, it's
Uh
I understand why it's good. I took a whole film history class where we had to watch it. Like I
okay.
understand why it's good. I'm just not like gonna ever watch it again.
Well, old movies. I hate these like these great directors who are brilliant, but they're just like we have to have this. I watched this movie today. This like Tarkovsky film, and it's just like it's just this guy, it's called Stalker, and it's a super cool idea. It's like there's just like this field called the Zone, and like there's weird stuff there. But then like they take a train type thing to the Zone, and they're just like we have to see like 6 minutes of the back of the guy's head the whole time. I'm like, I don't need to see this. We could have gotten it in a minute. I get the tone setting, get all of it. We don't need 6 minutes of this.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a couple old movies that still hold up.
Absolutely, but I'm just saying, I feel like old movies and like brilliant directors who I'm sure know more than I do, and I'm sure there's a reason for it. But I'm just like, I got it.
Yeah, that's fair. That was the Peter Jackson King Kong movie for me. Like, almost an excellent movie. I did not need an hour on the boat.
Yeah, give us 20 minutes and we're good.
Like, sure, romance is nice. Adrian Brody, good actor. Didn't need an hour on the boat. Could have just skipped
make a boat movie if you want to do that.
Yeah, you could have done that somewhere else.
Right, exactly. All right, you come for the football talk, stay for the movie talk. Kyle, let me know where we can find us on Twitter before we head out.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on Twitter for our football talk and occasionally our movie opinions, I guess. Follow him at Jackson Kruger. Make sure to follow me at by Kyle Gronin. And then make sure to follow the account page that's at On the Sideline JK. That is at On the Sideline JK.
What's the best sports movie of all time?
Ooh, best sports movie of all time. I think I really like He Got Game with Ray Allen.
Okay, I don't think I ever saw it.
Oh, I think it's on HBO. I recommend it. It's got Denzel Washington and Ray Allen. That's a fantastic film. As far as football goes, like I like Friday Night Lights, but I think the book's better and tells a better story. There's a couple other ones. I'd have to really think about that.
Yeah, Major League in there. I think I would go The Big Lebowski.
There you go.
Yeah, all right. Bring it full circle. If you like audio only feeds, audio only podcast, no one's listening
Airbud.
at this point. No. Yeah, Airbud. There you go. Fantastic. If you like audio only podcast, anywhere you get your podcast, the audio only feed should be available. Just search On the Sideline. Or if you found this audio only, if you found this on the audio only version, check out Jackson Kruger Sports. We have the YouTube version available there. So check that out. Kyle, any final thoughts?
Looking forward to week 6 and enjoying my Thursday night off. So this should be good.
Yeah, we're after this week, a third of the way done.
That's sad.
Yeah, very sad. Also, we have Marcus for the second time asked me how old I am. I'm 27.
Same.
Yeah. I always wondered that. Like, do people think I'm younger? Or I feel like I get a lot of people think I'm younger. I think I have a higher pitched voice than the average YouTuber.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I don't know. I feel like people think I'm younger too, but it depends on if I shaved or not. Although even when I shave, I look young because I can't grow a full beard. So
well, that's where I'm at. I can't. I moved and I still can't find my razor, so I'm just stuck with this. I should just buy a razor, but this is what I'm at.
Yeah. Fair enough.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you again to everybody. We do appreciate it. Until next time. See you later, alligator.
Peace.